It's the most competitive conference in the nation at one of the most exciting meets of the year. Some of the best gymnasts from around the country will be competing on the floor tonight. It's the 2004 SEC Gymnastics Championships next on SEC TV.
Mississippi State wins. Go, Rebels! Here comes the ball.
SEC Gymnastics have a new home this year. The arena at Gwinnett Center, just miles from downtown Atlanta, hosting for the first time ever. Hello everybody, I'm Jen Hildreth, happy to be joining you for the meet we've all been waiting for. 4 of the nation's top 10 ranked teams will be competing here tonight, including Florida, a team that is coming off 2 scores of 198 or better. That's a school record. And as a team, what a year Florida has had. It's been a record-setting season, and they are right where they want to be.
We really feel like we're peaking at the right time, and that was the plan. Earlier in the year, we knew we were weaker on floor and vault, and we weren't pushing to getting the heavy stuff right in the beginning because we felt that that was too early, we'd peak too early. So we held out on throwing everything in the routines, and especially in the last 2 competitions, we feel like we've perfected our lineup, the order of the rotation, the skills.
Another team that's red hot right now is LSU. The Tigers just moved up to number 5 in the country, and they're coming off their best team total of the season. And of course, it helps for them to have the conference's top-ranked all-arounder and sophomore sensation, April Burkholder. But no question, you want to win an SEC title, you're going to have to go through the 2 teams that have set the standard in this conference for more than a decade. For more on that, let's go to my broadcast partner, Lori Strong-Ballard.
Consider this, Jen. Georgia and Alabama have won the last 14 consecutive SEC titles. The dominance is undeniable. They have created a tradition of excellence. Georgia's 6 seniors will give them an edge in terms of experience, and Chelsea Bird and her fellow classmates hope their final swan song will result in lucky title number 13 for the Gym Dogs. And if luck is what it takes, well, Georgia certainly has it on their side. In a random draw, they drew what many would consider the best rotation of this competition.
Well, today in the draw, it was very lucky. We sat down and Kinsey picked which package she wanted before any of them were opened, and that was the one that was left at the end for her to choose. So it seemed pretty apropos that we were having some luck to start things out. So I'd have to say this is going to be a pretty lucky year for us.
For an emotional team like Georgia, this kind of luck may be what they need to give them the mental edge to beat the defending SEC champions, Alabama. And for Tide, this season has been about stability. A win at the Super 6 earlier this year set the pace for a phenomenal season. They are healthy and peaking right now. The only glitch in an otherwise perfect season is a loss to Georgia. I'm here now with Alabama head coach Sarah Patterson. And Sarah, you are here to defend the title. But will that loss to Georgia earlier in the season play a mental factor in this competition?
Well, I think if anything, it inspired us. We were ranked number 1 for several weeks, and the season had been going along so smoothly. And I think if anything, it refocused us and sent us on the sights of the championship season.
In terms of your rotation draw, how does this competition need to play out for Alabama to win?
Well, I think we just have to go out there and hit all 4 events. We start on bars, beam, and we end on our 2 strongest events. We're on the bye the last rotation, but that worked out great for us at the Super 6, so we're just going to go out there and do the best job that we can and then see what happens.
And Alabama boasts the defending all-around champion and last year's co-SEC Gymnast of the Year, Gina Rice. Can Gina win another all-around title?
Well, I think Gina's hot. She's just ready to go. She's been stability for us all year long. I think our athletes look to her. She's warmed up great, and I think she's excited.
Well, good luck tonight, Coach. Jen, all eyes will be on that team title, but an all-around title gives everyone involved a few extra bragging rights.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori. I think that Gina Rice does have a great shot at going for that 2nd straight all-around title. She is looking to cap off what has been a phenomenal career at Alabama. Here we take a look at some of our all-around competitors for tonight. Erin Dooley for Florida. She's coming off a great all-around performance where she beat the number 1 and 2 ranked all-arounders in the nation from UCLA. And there, Lori, you see April Burkholder, the highest ranked gymnast in the SEC right now.
She's ranked 3rd in the country in the all-around, and she is a definite candidate for that SEC Gymnast of the Year, along with Gina Rice.
Well, Lori, you can see these teams are fired up. There's a lot of excitement in the air. They're getting ready to go, and so are we. Stick around. We'll get started as soon as we come back. Welcome back to the arena at Gwinnett Center. I hope you're ready for some great gymnastics because the SEC Gymnastics Championship is about to get underway. The Auburn Tigers will be starting the night out on vault. You see them talking to the judges there, but they have had to deal with some adversity. Lori, one thing, losing Shanna Sumrow, the freshman, earlier this year.
She tore Achilles tendon on this opening pass double pike. You could see it on the takeoff. A heartbreaking season-ending injury for Shanna and a loss on 4 events for Auburn, but sometimes adversity like this brings out the best in a team.
When we lost Shanna at LSU, we thought, God, it's really going to hurt us, and we've had kids kind of step up and rise to the challenge, and we may even be better now because of that than we were before we lost her.
This has always been a close-knit team, but now they're forced to bond and work together even more.
Absolutely, as Jeff Thompson said, sometimes brings out the best. Senior Christy Boyd up on vault.
Oh, a great vault for Christy. Look at that nailed landing. That vault is scored out of a 10-0, and that's how she wanted to do it.
Oh, Christy very happy with that, and she receives a 9.85 for her efforts. She's the anchor for Auburn in this event, but let me tell you how this meet works. It's a little more confusing than our regular meets. 7 teams, 7 rotations. Each team has 3 byes that they have to get through. We will be crowning a team champion as well as an individual all-around champion. So there's a lot to keep up with, but that's what Lori and I are here for. We're here to help you out. One of the athletes you are going to want to keep an eye on, Ashley Miles for Alabama. She was the one, Lori, who basically won this meet for Alabama last year.
They finished up on floor, and she scored a 9.975 to finish the meet and win the SEC title for Alabama. This is the moment that has motivated this team all year. They said they would do anything to feel this kind of excitement again.
Alabama begins their quest of defending that title on the uneven bars, and here we see sophomore Ashley Miles.
Toe on, toe off. Here comes a release move out of a giant full. It's a Tkachev. Very nice height. Straddle back to handstand. Alabama told me they want to pay attention to the details, hitting the handstands and the landings. In an intense, competitive competition like this, that is what's going to win it in the end. Dismount, double layout. She hits the landing. Job well done.
You can see some relief there for Ashley. Very happy with that performance, as she should be. A 9.9 for Ashley Miles on bars. That is a great way for Alabama to get started in this rotation.
Ashley has been so focused and so intense all day during warm-up. Her competition presence is almost intimidating.
Oh, I'd absolutely say intimidating. Meanwhile, Arkansas competing on the balance beam in this rotation. Dana McQuillian says there's something she tells herself before every performance.
Well, I'd say God still loves you. Get your head out of your butt and put your heart into it.
Hey, whatever it takes. Dana was a little shy to divulge her pre-beam ritual.
Oh, but I'm glad she did. Good words of advice for, I think, almost any competitor.
You notice the towel she just tossed away, wiping the sweat off her hands. Wolf full. Nice job. Good concentration so far. Dana is very disciplined and an even-keeled athlete. 2 characteristics that are so key on this event. Tumble series back handspring, layout 2-foot. She's thinking. She knew she was a little bit crooked. She took the step and stayed on.
Very important for Dana to stay on here. Arkansas has already had 1 fall in this rotation, so they need everybody else to really be on.
This is a tough event to start in this type of a competition. The pressure is high. The nerves can be a little bit shaky. Leap series, switch leap to a wolf jump. Most gymnasts would feel home free right now, heading into the dismount. Just 1 thing left, but Dana has a big dismount planned here. Tumble series into it, back handspring layout to a full twist. Nice job. A difficult routine.
And just a cool, calm demeanor throughout it. Dana McQuillan gets a 9.8 for Arkansas. Remember, Arkansas is just a second-year program, Lori. Some great gymnastics.
Yes, 2 tumble series here. Here was the first, back handspring layout, 2 foot. The second was into the dismount.
LSU, the 4th team competing in this first rotation. They'll be on floor. And Dee Dee Bro has said that there are some very specific goals that she has set for her team tonight.
I would like to hit the 197 mark. I think that this team is deep enough, and we've been consistent enough throughout this last three-fourths of our season to think that we can, build from a 9.75, 9.8 and get some 9.9s at the end, which will give us that, 197 mark, which I think will help us going into regionals.
Most definitely, all of these teams want to be peaking here at the SECs, but you also have to consider this is the first of 3 meets in the postseason that will lead up to what everyone wants, a Super 6 appearance. So it's all about preparation, continued preparation.
Sophomore Taryn Martin-Jack on floor for the Tigers.
Showing off what LSU does a great job with, and that is their dance and their overall presence and performance on this event. They are wonderful to watch. Full front tuck. Her first tumbling pass was back tumbling, and now we see forward tumbling. And my favorite part of the routine, and I think this crowd loves it here as well. There it is, the full package deal, expression, big dance. Take a look at the judges on the sideline. She's smiling, she's enjoying this routine, and that's important. Last tumbling pass, front layout, front layout. A little bonus there in the final pass. Great job for Taryn. Not huge difficulty. We're going to see some bigger individual elements, but the whole package was there.
And you see it in her score, a 9.9 for Taryn Martin-Jack, the first of what they call a 1-2 punch for LSU on floor.
There we go, middle pass, front full to a front tuck. Good bonus there as well.
We'll see the second half of that 1-2 punch a little later, but All-American Gina Rice is up next. Back to the SEC Championships in Duluth, Georgia. Fans already getting into it. You hear that roll tide. Large Alabama contingent here. Gina Rice, one of their favorites. And the senior is the anchor for Alabama on bars, and that's a position she says she likes.
I really think I thrive on pressure situations. I think that they put me in that situation because I know how to handle the pressure, or at least I like to think so. So, yeah, and actually I like that spot.
A true competitor, and Gina has had plenty high-pressure experience as Alabama's one of their top athletes for 4 years now. Rise to handstand, half to inverts. Very tough grip position there, half out. Here's her release move, a Tkachev. She'll go back down to the low bar. Oh, beautiful handstand position. She is really knocking out every detail, hitting the handstands. It's just the dismount here. Pops it up nice and high, drops into the landing. A great routine.
Well, Gina's the defending SEC champion in this event, and it looks like, Lori, she could probably be in the running here tonight. A 9.95 on bars. What a score for Gina Rice.
Gina has looked relaxed and confident all night. She's had a great warm-up, and that is so important. That really gets the ball rolling, creates a little bit of confidence heading into this competition.
April Burkholder up for LSU on floor. She choreographs her own routines, and you really get to see how creative she is.
You know, what I do when I'm just dancing, just freestyling, doing whatever I do, I think I just use some of that, and whatever comes to mind, basically. When I hear the music, I just feel it, and whatever I feel at that time, I just do it. And yeah, I try not to put too much repetition in anything, because I don't like that when people have a lot of repetition, you know, so I just try to keep everything original.
Opening pass, I full in. That's an E-level skill, 2/10 of bonus right off the bat. And you know, Jen, easily this will be the best performed routine of the night. It is so full in terms of dance details. 2.5 to a front pike, A little bit of a direction problem there. It's hard to tell on camera.
April's just so entertaining, and she uses that in her dance and in her choreography. And as you said, really one of the most exciting gymnasts to watch on floor.
And this routine is non-stop. Talk about endurance required for this. Every detail is choreographed right down to the facial expressions. She is non-stop, and here we go for the third and final pass. Front layout, front half, back layout. That's how you do it. Her final salto was higher than the other two. Oh yeah, what a great routine.
Big smile on April's face, and it's hard not to have a smile on your face watching that routine. She's just magnetic, just really captures probably the judges, looks like the judges and the audience as well. A 9.925 for April Burkholder to close out LSU's first rotation.
April matches some of the big difficulty we're going to see in this competition with this opening pass, a full in back out. I mentioned it was an E-level skill.
And there you see the first four scores of the teams that competed in this first rotation. LSU and Alabama both putting up some good scores. And coming up next, it's the Georgia Gym Dogs on vault. Dog fans are getting fired up. It's the SEC Championships in Duluth, Georgia, and the Georgia Gym Dogs preparing for their first event. They had a bye in the first round. Here you see who are the teams competing in rotation number 2. Georgia on vault, Alabama on beam, Florida on floor, and Kentucky on bars. And Georgia is a team that Suzanne Yocklin really feels has made a lot of progress this year, and right now they're right where they need to be.
I feel great about where we are right now. The path to get here has been, a little disheveled, but where we are right now is a great point for us. We're not burnt out at all. We actually are peaking for this postseason part of the competition.
And one of the keys for Georgia is having all 6 seniors competing and healthy right now, including Kinsey Rose, competing in the all-around tonight. Yurchenko layout full. Ooh. Nice job, but look at the landing. Something went wrong there.
Now you can see she's limping off a little bit. You just got to hope for the best. Kinsey has had some knee problems in the past, and you do see a limp there. She finishes with a 9.85, but Lori, certainly the bigger concern here might be how Kinsey Rowe holds up for the rest of this meet.
If this is as bad as it looks, this is a huge blow for Georgia. They will have to adjust the lineup on all 4 events. Take a look at the landing. Yes, you do see a knee pop there.
A tough blow for Georgia, but we'll keep you posted as we hear anything. Meanwhile, we get our first look at the Kentucky Wildcats. And this is a team that, they have to compete in this league, and it is a league that raises the level of competition.
It pushes us so much because we know we got to recruit better, we got to work harder. I mean, I've been asked that question every meet that we go into, because this season we competed, on the 12 meets we competed, we've only competed against 2 teams that weren't ranked. So there's no time to exhale when you're competing in the SEC.
In his first year as head coach, Mo is now motivated even more to come back stronger next year, really work this team hard.
And one of the leaders for this year's team, Lori, certainly is Michelle Gales, who's now competing on bars.
Beautiful combination into her pike Jaeger. Now this is the last team competition for Kentucky. They did not qualify to regionals, but Michelle has qualified to move on to regionals and will compete there in the all-around. Double back dismount, small step on the landing. A good, strong, difficult routine. I'd like to see a bigger dismount.
And that perhaps will raise that score up a little bit, but Michelle Gales gets a 9.8 for Kentucky in this second rotation. Meanwhile, Marie Bear from Alabama will be up on beam.
A beautiful gymnast. Take a look at her toe point throughout this entire routine. She has gorgeous lines. It shows off her flexibility nicely. Here's her tumble series. It's a little bit unique. Front aerial, then she goes backwards into a back handspring swing down, and a big smile finish. This is a key event for Alabama. They were very strong on bars. Now they need to have at least 5 strong scores, 5 big hits here. Again, showing off her flexibility. A required full turn. She pulls her arms aggressively over her head to save the wobble. She looks very calm, almost as if she's enjoying this routine.
As she should be, we hope.
That's tough on beam. Here's the leap series. Switch leap straddle, and she's off. Wow, that is a big miss on somewhat of a simple element.
And Marie is an All-American in this event. She's certainly an athlete that Alabama thinks will put up a big score. So you're right, Lori, this could be a big blow for the Crimson Tide.
She gets back up and repeats 2 jumps, straddle jump to a wolf jump, making sure that she's getting that bonus. There's the bell. She has 10 seconds to dismount. She knows it, staying focused. Gainer pike, sticks the landing, but a big miss right in the middle. One of those misses any athlete just wishes was a dream, a bad dream at that, but her teammates still supporting her, saying we'll pick up the slack. Look what went wrong here on the straddle jump. Her hips turned. She's unable to hang on.
And Marie was the 5th competitor for Alabama in that rotation. That's a score they're going to want to drop. We'll see how the other scores play out. But on floor now for the Florida Gators, freshman Brianne King. And a little bit of a different look for a gymnast, Lori. She's 5'8", which in the gymnastics world is pretty tall.
She is quite a tall gymnast. She is from Canada, one of Canada's national team members. I saw her have a breakout performance at Canadian Nationals last year. Now she's come on to this Florida team and has picked up where she left off there. One of 14 Canadians who have competed for this Florida team. Guess they love the sunshine down there.
I don't blame them.
As a tall athlete, she's quite athletic. You see round off 2.5 to a front pike. A little bit different there. She takes out the back handspring because of her height. Really gives her a little extra room to get the main skills, the 2.5 and the front pike in the floor. Again, taking out the back handspring there. Adding the whip before the double twist there gives her extra bonus. Brianne is a candidate for SEC Freshman of the Year. She's been such an important player in the success of this Gator team. Florida's coming off of 2 scores of a 198. Very impressive.
And Brianne has just been so consistent, hitting all of her routines.
In fact, Jen, Rhonda told me that she has hit 38 for 38 routines. How impressive is that for a freshman? Final pass, front full, front pike, solid landing. Make that 39 for 39, a great routine for Florida.
As you said, Laura, she's just come in and done such a great job for this Florida team. I know that Rhonda Fain is happy with what Brianne has been able to do for them this season. She gets a 9.85 for that last performance.
Remember, Florida is coming off a bye, so it's so important for them to start getting their energy levels up and to really have a good start-off performance here on the floor.
Welcome back to the arena at Gwinnett Center, SEC Championships in rotation 2. Young Georgia fan here. There are a lot of Georgia fans here. It's probably about an hour away from Athens, and that means there's going to be a lot of people cheering for gymnasts like Chelsea Bird, senior for the Gym Dogs, up on vault.
I remember last year at the SEC Championship, she scored a perfect 10 here. Not this time. She takes the step, but a phenomenal vault.
Chelsea, 2003 SEC Gymnast of the Year, along with Gina Rice from Alabama. She gets a 9.925, still a good score.
What really impresses the judges and these fans here is the height she gets off this vaulting table. She rockets that vault into the air. She just has to get the landing.
For the Florida Gators, freshman Katie Rue from Maryland up on floor. Very cute music to this routine. You can hear that already.
And potentially a big score for Florida. They're looking to build off of Brianne's 9.85. Just before her full in back out, she twists early, not enough rotation, and her hands are on the floor. That's a 5/10 deduction. And a loss of the difficulty of that skill.
And remember, Lori, that Florida already has an out-of-bounds deduction. They had that happen. Orly Smooch, their first competitor up. So that means all these other deductions really can start to add up, and Florida needs to be very careful.
Right now, they will be forced to count that 9.675 from Orly Smooch, and that will definitely bring down their floor total. Second pass, a double pike. And she steps out of bound there again. That's a 1/10 deduction. Nice clean double turn to a Popa. Last pass, whip half, front full. So Florida will miss a big score from Katie Rue.
Certainly this one will be much lower than she would have hoped at 9.25. That will be the score Florida hopes to drop. But either way, Lori, they're going to have some making up to do after this first rotation.
That's a tough position to be in after the first event, to be playing makeup. There's the second pass, the double pike. She lands right in the corner and steps out of bounds.
We've already seen Gina Rice for Alabama once tonight. That pretty bars routine, 9.95. She was the anchor in that event. She'll be the anchor in this event, which is beam. But take a look back. This is a few weeks ago. She has a fall, a very rare mistake for this gymnast.
Ever since then, I just wasn't used to falling, so it kind of threw my confidence a little bit. And then continuing on the year, I never quite regained it until like the past couple weeks in competition. And I really feel like I've grown a lot on beam and found my confidence again, so I think I'll be doing better.
Although it's not ideal, sometimes a mistake like that is just what a top athlete needs to get them back on track. And she got the wink and nod of confidence from her head coach, Sarah Patterson. The pressure is on Gina. Remember, Marie Bear has already had a fall. She must hit.
And as we've heard Gina say earlier, she likes that pressure. It's where she thrives.
Perhaps an SEC title rides on this performance here. It's almost impossible to win an SEC conference title counting a fall. Wolf jump, straddle jump, straddle jump. Clean and confident. If Gina can get past this tumble series, then my bets are on her for a hit. I can't swing layout, solid as can be.
I think she's going to make you a winner there, Lori. She certainly looks as confident and as good as we've seen her look all year.
Wolf 3/4, again a difficult jump, landing sideways on the beam. Strong small back handspring, that is a gym acro. So confident, she's even giving us a smile after each element. She is so on, so precise, even in her dance. But the dismount's big. Here it is. Round off, double twist, not a movement on the landing. That is the routine the Tide needed right now.
And boy, Gina Rice coming up huge yet again, a 9.975. And Lori, I don't know that I've ever seen an athlete look as confident and in the zone as Gina looked during this routine.
Not many mistakes in this routine. There's the tumble series, back handspring, layout. She was so aggressive and so quick.
And the final competitor in this rotation for the Florida Gators, Erin Dooley, who as we mentioned in the open, coming off a great all-around performance. She is capable of putting up a very big score, and right now, Florida needs it.
Florida has some ground to make up. They need to get a big 9.9995 here to make up for that 9.675 they are currently counting.
Well, Erin's the anchor in this event for a reason. She's led the team on floor for the past 5 meets.
Florida's also dealing with an emotional blow that occurred during the warm-up. One of their top beam and bar workers, Kristen Stuckey, hurt her knee. She is out of this competition. They have to fill the lineup with other competitors. Kristen has already undergone 7 knee surgeries, so what an emotional blow for this team. They really need to block that out, try to do the best for Kristen.
And Erin is a co-captain along with Kristen Stuckey, and it really comes down to your leaders. You need them to come through for you at points like this.
And Erin is so positive for this team. She's having such fun this year, but it is no fun when one of your top athletes and best friends goes out with a big injury. But Erin comes through for the team once again. Florida needs some big scores here.
And Erin Dooley gets it, a 9.925. That's exactly what the Florida Gators needed. And Erin Dooley coming through when she needed to. Florida finishes, though, with a 49.15 in this rotation, much lower than they're used to. Georgia with a nice score on vault, a 49.55, ties a season high. And we've got rotation number 3 coming up. Welcome back to the SEC Championships at the arena at Gwinnett Center. I'm Jen Hildreth along with Lori Strong-Ballard. Happy to be bringing you this meet. And just how good a conference is the SEC? Well, we'll let the coaches tell you.
It's amazing. I mean, it is definitely, in my opinion, the strongest conference for gymnastics in the country. And it's, you know, it's going to be a dogfight out there.
I think if you are competitive within the SEC in any sport, that you are competitive for the national championship, and I certainly think that is true for women's gymnastics.
You know, I've been a part of the Pac-10, which is a great conference, and the Big Ten, which is a great conference. But the difference here is the intensity, the crowd. I mean, you know, 10,000 people, you can't replace that energy in any way, shape, or form. And so to me, the competition is outstanding, but the environment is so much more exciting. And we're really excited to go out there and be a part of that.
Some argue the Pac-10 is as strong as the SEC, with UCLA leading the nation right now, but the SEC has won 3 team titles in the last 6 years and 9 overall. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's got to put them up there with anybody. You just got to look at the lineups for this rotation. LSU competing on vault. This is Nikki Butler, the freshman from Virginia Beach.
Chenko layout full, great landing. Bob Moore likes it, assistant coach and their vault coach.
Well, Nikki's been just improving and improving on this event all season long. She gets a 9.875. We'll take another look.
She comes onto the table with a little bit bent arms right there, which kind of hinders the height that she could get from this vault, but what a landing.
Auburn Tigers on bars for this rotation. Natika Johnson has got some pretty big fans in the crowd. Her parents, Richard and Cherry Johnson, they're cheering her on. Now, we should tell you that Natika actually hurt her knee on vault in the first rotation and is still competing on bars. What a gutsy performer, because she knows she needs to be in there for her team.
She is competing under pain. Luckily, this is not a weight-bearing event. The only concern here will be the dismount. Hop to a pike Jaeger right into her pack salto. Beautiful combination. Uprise to handstand. Here comes the dismount. We'll see if the knee can hold it. Little stumble on the landing. She's not sure. She was not sure what kind of pain she was going to feel on that landing. That's a tough routine.
A scary thing to do, too, to have to land and not know how your knee's going to take it. But Natika winds up with a 9.775 and comes through and performs for her team. I know the Auburn Tigers grateful for that. On beam, Stacey O'Keefe from the University of Kentucky.
This has been a tough event for Kentucky all year. Remember, this is their last team competition. So these athletes are gaining some great experience here, competing in front of these big crowds under high pressure. Stacey falls under tumble series, back handspring layout.
And as you said, this has been a bit of a trouble spot for Kentucky, an area that I'm sure Mo Mohammed is going to look to try to build on and improve in the coming seasons.
This is just such a tough event in itself. You're performing on a 4-inch wide beam. You're under pressure. You really have to focus on your technique. You cannot hold back. 2 tough things to do when you're under this kind of stress. It's also an event I believe it takes years to master. so many numbers in the gym, and it's also important to get that competition experience, to get out there and compete in front of the judges when there are expectations.
Stacy, just a sophomore. She's got a few more years to go here for the Wildcats.
She's had a smooth, calming rhythm throughout the entire routine. There's a dismount, front full, pretty good on the landing.
And of course that score is going to be low. The fall brings it down to a 9.15. And as we said, this is an event Kentucky's been working on trying to improve on, so just sort of taking some steps toward the future. But Arkansas is competing on floor in this rotation. Dana McQuillan, team co-captain, and competing in the all-around tonight.
Opening pass, nice high double tuck. Arkansas counted a fall on beam, so they really need to make up ground here. This is a good event for them. Front layout half.
Dana's one of 4 Arkansas gymnasts who have won a floor title this season, so they've got some good depth.
Dana's kind of a shy athlete, but she's coming out of her shell here on floor, showing some expression. Renee Cook has done an excellent job in choreographing these routines and really allowing the gymnasts to bring in the audience and to pull in the judge as well. Renee told me it was important to come up with routines that were exciting and fun to watch, and that really brought the crowd into it from the very start.
And remember, in a meet like this, you've got to really fight for that crowd's attention because there are 3 other events going on at the same time.
Final pass, deep breath. It's a tough one and a big one. Her most difficult pass at the end, a double pike. Great routine for Dana.
Dana's just so solid. She comes through when she needs to. That's why they put her toward the end of the lineup. She comes up with a 9.9 on floor. We said they had a fall on beam. Well, they've actually already had a fall on floor and out of bounds deduction. So Dana McQuillan comes through for the gym backs. Welcome back to the SEC Gymnastics Championships. We've already seen one huge score out of April Burkholder. Can we see another on vault? Well, this athlete is just the epitome of the attitude this team needs to succeed.
As a team, pretty much no fear, no regrets. Just, that means go out there and do what you know how to do exactly what you do in practice, and you won't have any regrets about it because whatever happens, happens,
Coach Dee Bro tells me that April is a great team player. She leads by example in the gym, extremely hard worker. And a great vaulter. She has already scored a 10 here this year. She's fighting for that landing. She wants another one.
Well, you can just see the look on her face. You know if she's happy or not with what she's done. A 9.925 for April Burkholder on vault. I'd say that's pretty good, but I think April was wanting a little bit more.
I asked her if that goes through her mind, that she wants a 10 before she performs. She says it's not about the 10. She just wants to give you her best performance and give away no mistakes.
Absolutely. And Courtney Puckett, another athlete who always gives her best. When you think of Auburn Gymnastics, you think of this athlete. She is in the all-around tonight.
She doesn't have huge difficulty on this event, but her form is impeccable. It's hard for the judges to take away deductions. Hitting her handstands. Front giant half there. And the dismount. It was a little flat in warm-up, and again, she comes in a little short, has to take that deduction on the step on the landing.
Courtney Puckett winds up with a 9.8 for the Auburn Tigers.
And Auburn really needs their big bar workers like Courtney to maximize their scores. The injuries, like Shanna Summerose, torn Achilles tendon, has really hurt them on this event.
The Arkansas gym backs are up on floor in this rotation. Rachel Barnett, freshman out of Oklahoma City. And Lori, this is a gymnast who has to really get herself back in a groove. She did have a fall on beam, and now she needs to come through and have a good performance on floor.
So important to put mistakes aside. You must have a good performance for the team here, and this is an event that she shines on. We saw her hit a season high against Kentucky earlier this year. Quite a performer.
She does hold the Arkansas record in this event. She has 2 9.95s.
See the knee brace on her knee. Many of the athletes here are dealing with injuries, some chronic, some fresh. This is the time of season where the body hurts. It's been a long season, and now they must push through this championship portion of the season. Front full, front pike, clean. 1.5 turn, leg above horizontal to a tuck 1.5. Showing it off. Letting a little bit of that fun personality out in her choreography. These gymnasts look forward to this SEC Championships, this caliber of competition, the intensity, and competing in front of thousands and thousands of people. This is really an amazing experience.
Especially for these Arkansas athletes. Rachel Barnett gets a 9.875. Again, it's just their second season of competition, so it's just their second SEC Championships. But maybe a little more relaxed this year. They know what to expect now after having won last year. But there you get a look at the scores from this rotation number 3. LSU with a 49.225, pretty good vault score. But we've got 4 rotations to go. They're calling the Hogs here in Duluth. Stick around. Welcome back to the SEC Championships. There you see Georgia senior Kinsey Rowe. Georgia suffered a blow early in this meet when Kinsey was competing on vault. Here we'll take another look at it. She seemed to tweak her knee on the landing. We didn't know the extent of that injury, but the diagnosis does not look good.
Well, we have alternates obviously on every event, but you have people in your lineup for a reason. They're your highest scorers. So it is a big blow for us. It's certainly not anything we expected. We were really excited about our meet tonight because we were going to have all 6 of our seniors competing for the first time in their careers together at an SEC championship. And it's just this particular class just has had the worst luck, and this is just one more blow for us to swallow. But we'll give it our best shot and try to come back strong on the next 3 events.
And Kinsey is out for the rest of this competition, possibly for the rest of the season.
And that's something that Georgia's certainly going to have to deal with. We will see Georgia in this rotation, though. Georgia, Florida, and Alabama all were off in the last rotation. But they are here in rotation number 4. Florida Gators on vault, and Orly Smooch is up.
Yuchenko, half front layout. She finds the landing. What a tough vault to stick. Not a problem for Orly.
God, I love watching Orly compete. She always has such a huge smile on her face. She gets a 9.875 for her efforts.
Always high energy, always enthusiastic, and never expects less than the best from herself. And it's paying off.
Another athlete I've really enjoyed watching this year, Kelsey Erickson, the freshman walk-on from the University of Georgia, who is a strong candidate for Freshman of the Year.
It's definitely been my goal since the beginning of the season. You know, coming here without a scholarship, I knew I had a lot to prove, and I don't think it was out of my reach, but I worked really hard, and so hopefully it'll come through.
Kelsey has been very consistent across 4 events, but this is the event that she was recruited by Georgia for. Excellent here, performing 2 major release moves.
And we should point out that while Kelsey is a walk-on, it's not for lack of scholarship. She turned down full rides to other schools because she wanted to come to Georgia.
Any school in the country would die to have this caliber of athlete on their team. You can see it showing it off here on bars. There's her second release move. It's not an easy one. That's an E-level piked Jaeger. Hitting her handstands. Just the dismount. Again, showing big difficulty here. Double Arabian, way above the bar. Just a step on the landing. Great job. Very clean routine.
As you said, this is Kelsey's specialty. The bars are what she came in doing the best on, and she's been great for Georgia this year. She gets a 9.9.
1/10 deduction for the dismount, the step on the landing. That means that the entire routine was perfect other than that.
An exciting performer here for the Auburn Tigers on beam. Rachel Tarantino, the freshman, has a 10 already. Auburn's first 10 on beam since 2002. She scored earlier this year.
And that 10 came just 2 days after the LSU meet where Shanna Summerow tore Achilles tendon. They struggled on beam at that event. They pulled it together, and she scored a perfect 10 against Centenary. Two back handsprings layout straight down the beam. You could tell that she was on. Auburn has vault and bars out of the way. They struggled score-wise on bars, but this is the event and floor exercise, their next event, where they can make up ground in terms of scores. Front tuck solid. Changement into a difficult three-quarter twisting straddle jump. Big score will come with a stuck landing, and she hits it.
Rachel Tarantino comes up with a 9.9 for the Auburn Tigers. Great beam performance there by the freshman.
Take a look at that front tuck skill right here. Big difficulty. She's so aggressive on the landing, and that's what holds her on.
Gina Rice has put up some big scores for Alabama already. She is preparing to go on floor and is one of the athletes Bama has to have hit.
With Gina Rice being an all-arounder for us, Shannon Horozak doing 4 events, you know, those two are pretty key, along with Ashley Miles. Ashley is our exclamation point at the end of a big lineup on vaulting and floor exercise, and we need, those athletes are the ones that can give us that potential large scores, 995, 9975. And I think, every team, if you're going to win, you have to have a couple of those that come through at the end with that exclamation point.
And Gina has added difficulty to her routine here at the end of the season. We'll see that in her last tumbling pass. Remember, Alabama comes in here after a bye, which, yes, gives them rest, but it also could mean that they're cold. They need to get their bodies moving here. Opening with a huge full-in back out in a pike position. Gorgeous start. Front full, front pike. Nice job showing off both backward and forward tumbling. Gina can really start to let loose here. So can this whole Alabama team. Bars and beam are out of the way. Those are the real nerve-wracking events. Now they can really start to show off, enjoy their crowd. They have plenty of supporters here. Final pass, I mentioned the added difficulty. She put it in after the Georgia meet. Whip to 2.5 twist, not a problem. Oh yeah, great routine.
You still see that confidence on Gina's face through that entire routine that we've seen this whole meet, Lori. And just think, a 995 to go with scores already high, a 995 on bars, a 9975 on beam. No question, Gina Rice and the Crimson Tide are showing why they're the defending SEC champs. Second half of rotation number 4 as we come back to the SEC Championships in Duluth, Georgia. Alexis Brion on floor for the Crimson Tide.
Another one of Bama's great floor workers. Whip to a double back. What great height she gets in her tumbling. Half to a Popa. At Alabama's meet against Georgia, Alexis had a little problem with the timing on this pass. She changed it up, and that lowered her start value. Whip half front full front tuck. That's the way she wanted to do it. Always shows a lot of energy in her routines. Final pass. Not an easy one. Double back. Boy, does she get some height.
Strong routine for Alexis Brion. She's happy, goes jumping off in her coach's arms, and she gets rewarded with a 9.95. Alabama putting up some big scores on floor in this rotation.
Clean landing, she hits all 3 of her tumbling passes, backs it up with some very entertaining dance. What a great routine.
Meanwhile, for the Florida Gators, Savannah Evans has been one of the outstanding freshmen this year.
A walk-on who scored a perfect 10 on this vault earlier this year, not able to put it on her feet tonight.
Yeah, disappointing there for Savannah. As you said, Lori, she did have a 10 earlier this year. She's capable of much bigger scores. You know what I like about it? She still has a big smile on her face.
What a tough position for a freshman to be in, going last up in a high-pressure meet like this. She's already scored a perfect 10, so that just increases the expectations. She came on a little flat and was unable to put this vault on her feet.
And we'll get a chance to take a look at Corey Fritzinger for the Georgia Gym Dogs. This is an event that she can be very powerful in.
And Georgia knows that Alabama is putting up big scores on floor. You can't help but notice the energy and intensity that's coming out of this crowd in this arena. Georgia staying very positive after the loss of Kinsey, staying focused on the task at hand, and Corey gets the job done.
As you said, Lori, they need to come up with some big scores, and Corey Fritzinger does it, a 9.95. You see now why the crowd at Georgia likes to chant Fritz hits, because she certainly does so here.
Georgia's hit with a little adversity, and they are not backing off whatsoever. Corey's one of the best bar workers in the country. She shows it off nicely here.
And from one of the best bar workers in the country to one of the best on floor, Ashley Miles for Alabama. There you see it. Never scored below a 9.9 in this event. She is fantastic to watch on floor.
Looking to build on Alexis Brion's 9.95, opening with a solid double layout.
Gotta love the power and explosiveness you see in Ashley's routine.
This is exactly how I like to see floor done. Big tumbling, great dance, entertaining. Front full, front layout. Some of these athletes and coaches have complained about this floor. It is on top of an ice rink, which makes it a little bit harder. Most of these girls compete with the floor on top of a basketball court, which gives it a little extra bounce. If we're going to see a problem, we'll see it in athletes like Ashley, who are throwing the big tumbling, the double layouts, and the full ends. And there's not a problem so far. Last pass, double pike, and she nails it. What an amazing routine. A little reminiscent of last year's SEC Championships, where she won it for Alabama on this event. Her music has stopped. Very interesting, but she finishes up her routine. That will not be a deduction. A great routine for Ashley. I'm sure the coaches will go discuss this with the judges to make sure that there's no deduction there, to let them know that she didn't finish offbeat. There's the meet director, Marion Mahoney, discussing it with the judges. Sarah's concern is that they check the music to make sure that this doesn't happen to any of the other teams.
And just take another listen, you'll hear where it goes out.
Right there, you cannot break your concentration. She continues up, finishes it all the way to the end. Big applause by her teammates. They're supporting her all the way.
And the question now is, that was a fantastic routine. The crowd wants a 10. It looks pretty good to us. It might have seemed a little off with that music, but as we said, it was a technical error, not an error by Ashley Miles. There's 110. What will the other judges give? 4 judges at this meet.
So hard to get a 10, a perfect 10 at SEC's, and she gets it, a perfect 10. That's at least 3 10s from the 4 judges. High and low are dropped, the other 2 are average. What a tough routine.
Wow, Ashley Miles coming through. Sarah Patterson says she's an exclamation point. Now you see why. A perfect 10 for the Crimson Tide. What a finish as they go off. We're coming back with rotation 5. Rotation 5 is getting set to start, and they are calling the hogs for those Arkansas gym bags. You just can't leave those Arkansas fans at home. You know, they got to come and make some noise for their team.
They have some great fans, and they've had incredible attendance at all their meets this year.
Certainly that program is headed in the right direction. Arkansas will be competing on vaults in this rotation. LSU on bars, Georgia on beam, and Kentucky on floor. And we will see Audra Lovelace, the sophomore from Arkansas, on vault.
Soup layout full. That is one of the most difficult style of vaults to do. We see the Yurchenko layout full, but this one's even more difficult, doing the half on to the vaulting table.
Audra finishes with a 9.75 for her vaults. Meanwhile, on bars, April Burkholder in the all-around tonight has put up some big scores already.
Saw a great floor routine and vault from her, and this is a nice event as well. So giant folded ginger, cast pack salto down to the low bar. Her skills are consistent. She's looking for that clean form, giving away no deductions. And of course, the stuck landing, there it is. Nails it.
And April Burkholder winds up with a 9.9, big score for the LSU Tigers, who, Lori, are in quite a race with the Florida Gators right now. Those two teams very close after their first two rotations.
They've both completed the same event, so we can do an event-by-event comparison, and right now LSU is ahead by 0.5.
Meanwhile, the Georgia Gym Dogs have 2 events completed. Next up, though, is beam, an event that is always key.
We need to be strong on the balance beam so that by the time we get to floor exercise, we don't need some ridiculous 49.8 to win, you know, that we know that we have a score that we can manage to get and can see ourselves, you know, in that winner's circle before we even get to the floor exercise. And so the event right before that balance beam, to me, will be very critical for us.
And once again, Georgia can thank the luck of the draw. They are competing on beam when Alabama is on a bye. That means the arena will be a little bit quieter, allows them to focus at the task at hand.
Alabama already has 3 events completed, so as you just heard Suzanne Yocklin say, Georgia does need a good score here to help set them up for their final rotation on floor.
Switch leap by Chelsea Bird. This has been a real big focus for Chelsea this year, balance beam. She wants to become an All-American here. She's really worked on her consistency, and this routine is working well for her. This is Georgia's 3rd event. You mentioned that Alabama has already competed 3 events, so after this rotation, we can exactly see where this competition stands, who's ahead, and what each team needs. Wolf jump to a tuck kick open. Chelsea is known for her powerful vaulting and tumbling. Really working hard to make this a great event for her. She's been smooth, concentrating, big dismount, 2 back handsprings to a double tuck, only a tiny step on the landing. Very good, solid routine, no wobbles.
Chelsea Bird gets a 9.9 on beam. These are the types of scores that Georgia needs. They want the big 9.9s.
She's a great teammate. As they look up to her on the balance beam, she's not wobbling. That really builds the confidence for the rest of the girls who need to compete.
Confidence so important on balance beam. But the Kentucky faithful looking over toward that floor where Michelle Gales is competing. Look at that, a career high of 9.95 in this event. She said she is a great all-arounder for the University of Kentucky.
One of the biggest and most difficult tumblers in the competition. She opened with a double layout. We saw a front full front layout. See the knee strap on there. Again, another one of these athletes that are dealing with chronic injuries. The wear and tear really starts to set in at this time of year. Again, the music shuts off near the end of her routine. You saw her look to the side, but she stays focused, continues. She must finish this routine out.
Well, that is unfortunate, but again, we see the athletes doing what they need to do. The fans giving her a little love. She has a lot of family and friends here. Michelle Gales is from Atlanta, Georgia, and she gets a 9-9 on floor. We've got more in rotation 5 coming up. Welcome back to the SEC Gymnastics Championships. Lisa Rennie, the freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada, on bars for the LSU Tigers.
Well, she's got a great competition going so far. And Lisa has a very difficult bar set planned. Toe on to invert position, up to a full twist. Giant half. This is a key element right here, her release move. Much better than the last competition I saw her do it in. A little bit higher above the bar. Bail to handstand. Hitting that handstand, the dismount, toe on, front half, kicks it open. No problem on that landing. What a great routine.
The freshman coming through for the Tigers. Nice routine there, a 9.875. And you know, one interesting note about Lisa Laurie is that she's a diabetic, so she has to deal with the insulin and take very good care of herself, but she said it does not affect her at all. She's able to compete just fine.
She's very matter-of-fact about it. She says, I just keep it under control. In fact, when they discovered that she was a diabetic, the doctors encouraged her to continue with her gymnastics.
And it's a good thing that she has. Meanwhile, Sierra Sapinar, one of the 6 Georgia seniors competing. This is just her second time competing on beam all season, but she is coming off a career-high 9.95 in this event.
Georgia is very excited to have all 6 seniors competing at this competition. When they came in as freshmen, they were touted as the Super 6. They've dealt with so many injuries over their career, and I believe that it's key to have these 6 experienced seniors in their lineup for Georgia to be successful this year. 2 back handsprings layout. We talked about some of the injuries that they've dealt with. Sierra tore her ACL at Nationals last year. She's just now starting to get everything back in order. An excellent beam worker for Georgia. There's quite a bit of experience and maturity, and that certainly helps on this event. Hear the floor music start up in the background. It's very important to keep your concentration. We saw a slight wobble there from Sierra. Just the dismount, an element where the ACL tear may be a factor, not a problem. Cartwheel gainer, full solid landing. Another great routine for Georgia. They are getting the job done when they need it.
Absolutely. Sierra Sapinar with a 9.925. And remember, again, that is just the second time she has been on beam all season, and she comes through.
What a tough comeback. Coming back from an ACL tear. That is one of the most difficult injuries to come back on.
But coming up, we've got Corey Fritzinger. Can she do it for Georgia on beam? Georgia coach Suzanne Yocklin giving some words of advice to one of her seniors, Corey Fritzinger. Corey, along with her teammate Marlene Stevens, 2 seniors who've had to take on a bit of a different role this year.
I think that we've got them in a position where mentally they know what their role is, both Corey and Marlene, and they've accepted the fact that they're not doing 4 events, but they're doing 2 events where we need really high scores. And we're talking 9.95s is something that we expect from those girls on the 2 events that they are doing. So I think they've adjusted very well to that. Corey has really stepped it up and been very consistent on the uneven bars for us, our highest scorer this season. In balance beam, she's put up some big scores under pressure as well.
Corey is in 3 events tonight. Her main focus is the bars. We saw her get the big score there, and of course balance beam. She is now last up in the lineup on beam since Kinsey is out with the knee injury. Tumble series, 2 back handsprings layout right on top. Corey suffered a high ankle sprain early in the season, during preseason, and that has kept her out of floor. We've really missed her personality on that event. But she has been getting the job done for Georgia on the other events. And time again, we see her come through under this kind of pressure. Georgia wants a big score here.
And really, Lori, if you think about, usually in the anchor position for Georgia, we see Kinsey Rowe, but of course, we saw Kinsey go down with that knee injury on the vault. Now in that anchor position, you've got Corey Fritzinger, who is someone who really thrives in this type of a situation.
There it is. That is her third big skill. She hit her tumble series. She hit the gainer layout. That was the wolf jump 3/4. Now it's just the dismount.
And listen to the crowd get up for her. They want a big score here.
If she nails this, this could be huge. Legs glued together, not a movement. That is a huge routine.
And the Georgia fans and the Georgia gymnasts know it. Corey Fritzinger knows she's put together a great routine. All that's left is to find out what the judges think. And take a look at that crowd. As we've said, there are a lot of Georgia fans here waiting to see those scores from the judges.
You could see the confidence in her eyes. She nailed every single element. Heading into that dismount, she flared it open, hit the landing. What is the score? What will they give her?
The crowd's chanting 10. The gymnasts are chanting a 10. We've already seen 110 tonight, Lori. Could we see another one here?
Here's the dismount, double full. She flares the arms open. She knows exactly where that landing is, nails it. That's the exclamation point. That's what the judges were looking for, to give them the okay to go with the 10. And she gets it. There it is, a perfect 10 for Corey.
The first perfect 10 in SEC Championship history on the balance beam by Corey Fritzinger. What a huge score for the University of Georgia. We just saw Alabama go out of their last rotation, finishing with a 10. Now Georgia answers.
This is a different animal than vault and floor. Vault, it's one skill. You nail it, you can get the 10. Floor, you can make small mistakes and cover them up. Beam, you have to be awesome and perfect.
And look at that score by Georgia on beam. A 49.525 is an SEC championship record, topped off by that perfect 10 by Corey Fritzinger. And the Georgia Gym Dogs will leave this rotation with a lot of cheers from those fans in the crowd. And take a look, there's our leaders after 5 rotations, very close. Georgia and Alabama, as we expected, right up in there for that top spot. We've got 1 rotation left for those 2 teams. We'll have the 6th rotation when we come back. Welcome back to the Arena at Gwinnett Center. The SEC Gymnastics Championships are heating up. We are in the home stretch here. You just saw those scores between Georgia and Alabama, very tight. Georgia is on a bye in rotation number 6, but Alabama is on vault. It's one of their strongest events. They have the potential to put up some huge scores here, and all they can do now is, Lori, try to put up a big score and get themselves out enough ahead, because then they're going to have to watch Georgia compete in their final event, rotation number 7.
Dana Folletti doing a very interesting style of vault, a full twisting on back pike, unique, the only one in this competition, a vault that has been made doable by this new vaulting table because of the larger surface area.
And Dana Folletti does it well. She gets a 9.9, called one of Alabama's most improved gymnasts this year as we take another look at her vault.
The flight on is different. She adds the full twist for a 9.9 out of a possible 10.
Well, Florida is on bars for this rotation. They're ranked number 4 in the country in this event, but remember, they're going to have to do it without Kristen Stuckey. There you see her. She injured her leg during warm-ups earlier in this meet, so it's going to be a challenge for Florida to put up some big scores without her.
Well, she just injured herself when we were warming up balance beam, and she won't be able to compete for us possibly for the rest of the season, so she's sitting down tonight. It's a major loss for us on the 2 events that she does do, which is bars and beam. You know, she's been hitting between a 9, 9, and 10 every single time she goes out. So that's a really rough blow for us, but we're a strong team, and our alternates are ready to go, so we'll fight as hard as we can.
And a major heartbreak for Kristen Stuckey, who has already undergone 7 knee surgeries. She will be missed on this event.
But a strong competitor for the Gators is senior Erin Pendleton. This is the only event she's competing in these championships and is the Florida record holder on bars.
She is somewhat of a bar specialist. Inverts to a straddle Jaeger, bail to handstand. She's a petite athlete. That works well on this event. Here's the dismount, double layout, nails the landing, just drops into that final landing.
Well, Florida has done a great job so far picking up the slack without Stuckey. Erin Pendleton gets a 9-9. That's actually the third 9-9 in a row for the Gators on this event, so they are doing exactly what they need to do.
They struggled a little bit, first event on floor. I know they were still dealing emotionally with the loss of Stuckey, but they've come back strong, and it's a tough race between LSU and Florida here.
No question, and that puts some more pressure on freshman we've seen already, Lisa Rennie for LSU. She's on beam now.
Starting off with a difficult mount, round off layout, finishes off with a smile. Showing off her precision there. One arm back handspring layout. She really is disciplined in all her landings, hitting those lunge positions, and watch how she works her arms. Very good basic training on this event. Pike jump to a pike open. Quite a stunning combination there.
Lisa has gone 9-9 or higher on beam in 3 of the last 4 meets.
2 straddle jumps, incredible flexibility, hitting that 180-degree split. Showing a front element into the dismount, a slight pause in that combination, but a stuck landing. Very precise, not many deductions whatsoever.
Well, she seemed very happy with it, as she should be. Lisa Rennie gets a 9.95. That's a new career high for the freshman. And this is what LSU needs to do here, Lori.
Look at the precision in her arms. From the swing in the back handspring all the way through to the landing. That keeps her from getting those tiny little wobbles that will bring the score down.
As we've said, Florida and LSU in a heated competition. You see them both putting up big scores in this rotation. And on floor for the Auburn Tigers, Courtney Puckett. She's from Lilburn, Georgia, just around the corner from this arena, has a lot of fans here, and she is a great performer on floor.
She told me her mother actually purchased 200 tickets to sell to her families and friends. And this is her event. This is where she really shines.
She keeps that great smile on her face through the whole routine, just really draws the crowd and the judges into what she's doing on the floor.
And Auburn scored very well on their last event, beam. Jeff Thompson, head coach, came up to me and said, I just hope we can do it again on floor. This is an event that Jeff has touted as their saving grace all year. This is the event that they end on at every home meet, and it has won them many competitions at home. Showing off a little pizzazz and that precious smile. Last pass, front full, front pike. Another stunning routine by Courtney.
And what a wonderful finish to Courtney Puckett's season on floor in the SEC this year, a 9.925. Tremendous score for her and for the Auburn Tigers. I think those 200 fans, or however many tickets her mom ended up selling, they're probably up on their feet right now, giving Courtney a little love.
Courtney trained at Gwinnett Gymnastics Center. There are many young gymnasts who are training there now, watching her compete, looking up to her. She is quite a role model.
And there are a lot of great gymnasts to watch in this meet. We'll have more coming up. Welcome back to the SEC Championships. Gina Rice has done an outstanding job in her first 3 events. I think the all-around title is hers to lose, but now she is up on vault.
Just a vault to go. Yurchenko layout full, nails the landing. Outstanding job.
Gina Rice has been as on as any gymnast in this meet as we've seen all year, Lori.
Talk about being in the zone. I've never seen her look better.
She gets a 9.975, and let's just take another look at this vault.
Alabama has really stepped it up here. A great event for them, but they are hitting the landings. That's what they need to do. Georgia's on a bye, so they need to pull ahead as far as they can.
Absolutely. April Burkholder, the all-rounder for LSU. She's going to be up on beam. She's ranked 4th in the country in this event.
Again, starting off big, same mount we saw Lisa Rennie do. Showing off difficulty right from the start, and it doesn't stop for this athlete. Back handspring layout straight down the center of this 4-inch wide beam. There's a ring jump, a slight bobble there. You notice she's wearing beam shoes. Probably the only athlete in this competition who chooses to do so. It's up to the athlete. Beam shoes were quite popular during the 80s when some of these big skills were coming out. It helped protect their feet. And some just prefer the grip that they give on the beam. Again, we're seeing some of her intricate dance, always sharp and crisp. Big dismount here. E-level skill, double back. Almost a stuck landing, a great routine. LSU is heating things up.
No question, and at the center of that is April Burkholder. She gets a 9.85 in this event. Gotta love April. You can just always see on her face that she just wants that little bit more.
I'll tell you the two mistakes, that slight bobble, an 0.5 and a 1/10 deduction for this dismount. But you have to give her credit for going for the difficulty.
And how about this? The defending NCAA champ on vault, Ashley Miles.
Once again, this SEC title may be in her hands. Beautiful vault. That is just huge.
She is the final competitor for Alabama in this rotation, and a 9.95 will cap off the Crimson Tide in rotation number 6. That has got to give them a pretty good total heading into the final rotation where they will watch Georgia compete. But take another look.
Not quite as dramatic as last year's floor performance because now the Tide has to sit on a bye and wait to see what Georgia comes up with. But boy, are they in a good position.
Oh, certainly. There you see the scores from this rotation. Alabama with a 49.625 on vault. It's a great score, and their team total is right up there too. But Georgia is up next. Welcome back. We are in the final rotation here at the Gwinnett Center for the SEC Gymnastics Championship. The Georgia Gym Dogs need a 49.5 to tie Alabama. Alabama finished up. They have a 197.95, and the question now is, will it be enough?
Well, I don't know. It's a great performance for us. I mean, that's our high score for the season. I think we did a great job, and you know, there's a lot of great competition out there. It's tough sitting on the bye, the last rotation, and you just got to hope that that's going to hold up. We ended on our two best events, and I thought we were superb. And you know, when your kids do the best they possibly can, you can't say much more.
Alabama must be pleased with their performance so far, but that is a tough position to be in. This is again where Georgia's rotation schedule gives them the luck of the draw. Finishing on floor, they know what they need.
And there you just saw Michelle Gales from Kentucky on vault. Gets a 9.8 for the Wildcats.
And her last performance for Kentucky as a team, she will move on to regional competition. And she told me it was a top goal for her to try to make it into the top 5 in the all-around here. She finishes very strong with this nice handspring front pike. Good height, legs were glued together.
The Arkansas gym backs are on bars in this rotation. And, you know, Laura, we've got to say, all these other gymnasts have the challenge of the fact that Georgia is on floor in this rotation, and this crowd is going to go crazy whenever they do anything.
It is extremely loud in here, and I am sure that this was a discussion that went on between the athletes and the coaches. You're going to need to focus a little extra hard when Georgia's on floor.
Dana McQuillan for Arkansas gets a 9.825 in this routine.
Nice high, giant full to a double back. Again, Dana's not throwing huge difficulty, but she's clean and consistent.
One of the most difficult events, perhaps, to compete in a noisy atmosphere would be beam. Orly Smooch is going to try and do that for Florida.
You can hear the crowd roaring in the background along with the music. It is so tough to compete with all of those distractions going on. Orly hitting her tumble series there right from the mount, handstand layout to a back handspring. There are the chants. Many of these teams have practiced in their own home gyms, giving themselves these kind of distractions, pumping up the music, bringing in fans to yell and scream, doing anything that they can to create a distraction and force the athlete to fight through it mentally. Here we go with the dismount. Round off, double back. She looked a little slow heading into it, but what a landing. A great routine for Orly. Look at the score.
A 9.925 ties a career high for Orly. Smooch, I'd say, oh, that distraction didn't bother her too much.
This is another one of those athletes, similar to Corey Fritzinger. She loves being in those high-pressure situations and almost always comes through. Once again, she does the job for Florida.
And now on to the gym dogs, Brittany Smith. She has 2 10s on floor this season. Now consider, we said they need a 49.5, which means every gymnast must average a 9.9. She's got to have a big score.
And that means clean landings for Georgia. Whip to double pike. There's one down. I noticed during warm-up, Georgia had a little bit of a struggle here. Remember, this floor is on top of the ice, not on top of a basketball court that they're used to competing on. That reduces a little bit of that spring, makes the surface a little harder. It'll show up in the big skills like the full ins, and sometimes in some of those combination skills like that second pass for Brittany. Also take into consideration that this is the 7th rotation. This is the longest meet of the year, even longer than national championships. So they could be fatigued. This is where their conditioning program really will play a part. Last pass, tough for the endurance, double back. Almost got stuck midair there, somehow pulls that landing out. What a fighter. This Georgia team is not going to give anything away at this point.
Well, the crowd wants a 10. I don't know, Lori, they might be a little overzealous here for that routine, but it was a good routine nonetheless for Brittany Smith. She does her job, a 9.925. As we said, these gym dogs need to average a 9.9 just to tie Alabama, so Brittany does what she needs to do.
Take a look at some of that big tumbling we saw from her opening pass, a whip back, a no-handed back handspring right into the double pike, and a clean landing.
The fans are chanting UGA. Can they do it? We've got 2 gymnasts left. Welcome back to the SEC Championships. The Alabama Crimson Tide having to just sit and wait in this final rotation. They are through with competition. Now they just have to watch and see what the Georgia Gym Dogs do. It is between these 2 teams for the title. Georgia Gym Dogs very happy with what they've done so far. This is the reaction during Brittany Smith's floor routine we saw a moment ago. And Georgia with just 1 mistake so far. Ashley Coupette stepped out of bounds. That lowers that score, not a 9.9. That's what they need to get, but that does mean that Marlene Stevens, who's up next, could seal it for Georgia. If she gets a 9.9 or higher, the Georgia Gym Dogs will be the SEC champs. Marlene, again, one of these 6 seniors on this Georgia squad, looking for their 3rd SEC title.
Marlene Stevens was SEC floor champ 2 years ago, opening huge with a full-in back out, clean landing. And Jen, she's also one of those 6 seniors that have been struggling to come back from a major injury. She tore her Achilles tendon before last season, was out all last year, just recently came back within the last month, and boy, is she on fire now.
Yeah, Georgia really feels like just now she's getting back to where she used to be.
Front to 2.5 twist, drops into the landing. That is a tough pass to nail, clean and solid like that. This team, with these 6 seniors, had such high expectations this year. The team started off a little bit slow with a loss at the Super 6, then again a loss to UCLA. They've had a few struggles coming together, and I think things are starting to meld together right now, right when it counts. Final pass, if she nails it, it will be a big one and possibly an SEC title, a double pike. Outstanding. An incredible routine, an incredible comeback for Marlene. What a night for these Georgia Gym Dogs.
And look at Marlene. She knows she's put up a big score. The team knows it's going to be big. Now, it's not for certain yet. We have not seen the scores from the judges, and you never know. But we've got this crowd in this arena chanting 10 again, Lori. I mean, they're really wanting to see those big scores.
Once again, at a championship meet, there are 4 judges, and that means at least 3 of them must give a perfect 10. Drop the high and the low, average the other 2. There was a key pass, the front through to 2.5 twist, very clean.
Look at the gymnast waiting. There's 1. She needs to have at least 2 more. And
there it is.
The final score says she got it. The Georgia Gym Dogs put up their second perfect 10 of the night. This one by Marlene Stevens on floor, and it clinches the 2004 SEC Championship.
The fans love it. There are thousands of Georgia fans here to witness this SEC Championship meet. What an emotional payback for this Georgia team as well. After the loss of Kinsey, first event, they hung in there.
Oh, and you see the looks of disappointment on the faces of the Alabama gymnasts. Now, these roles were reversed last year. Ashley Miles and the Crimson Tide snuck past the Georgia Gym Dogs in the final event of the competition. They won last year's title by .05. But this year, Lori, the Gym Dogs do it. What a performance by Georgia. But there's quite a race, Lori, for third place between Florida and LSU. Samantha Luz, the freshman on beam for the Gators, and she needs a big score here.
She needs a 9.95 to tie LSU at this point. She is the last-minute sub for Kristen Stuckey, who went out with an injury on this event during the warm-up. So talk about pressure.
And Florida has finished in third place at the last 3 SEC championships. At this point, that is where they'd like to stay. They'd like to keep that streak going.
It's a circus in here. It's loud, very distracting, especially for a freshman, and she is keeping her composure. The crowd roars right before her dismount. Back handspring layout to a full twist. It doesn't bother her one bit. Talk about gaining incredible experience. We'll have to see if that score is big enough to solidify a third place for Florida.
Oh, she comes close but doesn't quite get it. A 9.9 for Samantha Luz is a career high for the freshman, but it is not quite high enough to keep the Gators in third place.
Florida had a tough start tonight on floor exercise, a fall, 2 out of bounds, but did they come back strong or what? Finishing on beam. Big scores here, but not big enough to hit that third place on the podium.
Certainly the strongest event of the night, though, for the Florida Gators. They put a good finish on this SEC season. Speaking of finishing, Chelsea Bird for the University of Georgia on floor. Lori, it's 1 at this point. She's just got to go out there and have fun.
I guess that's the bonus of going last. Quite often you are in that high pressure situation when they need your score, but every once in a while you'll find yourself, it's just a little lanyap routine, a little extra, and we could see history in the making if we see 2 back-to-back 10s here on floor.
I mean, no question, her teammates have done a good job of setting her up. When you get a 10 right before you, sets the bar pretty high.
Fly spring, front layout, half back layout. Again, another solid landing. Chelsea opened big with the double layout. She's got a difficult last pass planned.
Chelsea more than capable of a 10 on floor. She has 2 already this season.
And you know what? Right now, the title's there. She has thousands of fans cheering her on. This is about fun. This is about having a good time and really enjoying her last SEC championships. Finishing with a double pike. Oh, just a slight movement of that foot. I'm not sure. A close one, though.
Certainly a very strong floor performance by Chelsea Bird and the Georgia Gym Dogs.
It has been a struggle from the start for Georgia with the loss of Kinsey first rotation, but what fighters they have been.
They totally have come and fought back in this meet. Oh, Chelsea very close, a 9.975. What do you say, Lori? Probably that little step is what took it away.
And it only takes one judge to disagree with the others. 2 10s, 2 995s, 9975 is the final score.
We'll get another look at this routine by Chelsea Bird.
There it is, the double layout. That's how you do it. Second rotation, higher than the first. Very clean, beautiful big tumbling.
The crowd getting a little bit of reaction to that score. And the UGA chants come out in force. What a rotation to cap things off by the Georgia Gym Dogs. There are the final scores from this last 7th rotation. Georgia with a 49.725, Florida 49.475 on beam. That was their strongest performance of the night. We'll have the awards when we come back.
We did it, girl! We did it!
Welcome back to the SEC Championships. It's all over here at the Gwinnett Center in Duluth, Georgia. And the Georgia Gym Dogs pleased the home crowd with a 198.175. That's the highest score in SEC Championship history. And what a close meet it was. Look at that, 4 teams all score 197 or higher. That's just incredible. You don't get this kind of competition anywhere else in the country. For the Georgia Gym Dogs, it was their 13th SEC title, and Lori is standing by with the winners.
Thanks, Jen. What a night. A 198.175 unofficially, and your 13th SEC title. After Kinsey went down, Suzanne, did you ever think it would turn out this way?
Well, we're used to dealing with adversity. This senior class has had more injuries, I think, than any class in the country. And unfortunately, you know, Kinsey was out and we had to regroup. But I mean, you didn't have time to doubt anything. You just had to regroup, change your lineups, and other people stepped it up.
A very exciting night and 2 perfect 10s from you guys. Corey, this was your style of gymnastics when your routine is on the line and you responded with a 10 on beam.
Yeah, it was great. I just went out there and I cleared my head. I cleared the mechanism, just everything around me, and just knew that I had to, you know, just put 2 walls on either side of the beam and just stay on top. And I had to hit, and so I just went out there. It kept in the back of my mind also that I was like, Kinsey still needs to go, Kinsey still needs to go, but just did my best.
And Marlene, the exclamation point on this win, an amazing 10 for you to finish it up and cap the win off for Georgia.
Yeah, this was a really fun meet, and floor is always fun for me. So, you know, I just went out there and did what we all did, what we know how to do, and came out on top.
Well, congratulations. What a great night. Does this set you up well for possibly a national championships?
I mean, it does in terms of our confidence, for sure. Our team knows that we can do this, but, you know, we're holding ourselves together with tape and adhesive tape and everything else, but we got 4 more weeks to go, and this definitely will propel us for sure.
Well, great job, and good luck with the rest of the season, both of you. Back to you, Jen.
Thanks, Lori. Well, Georgia may have won the team title, but the individual all-around title went to Alabama's Gina Rice. What a phenomenal performance by the 13-time All-American here tonight. She wins her 2nd straight all-around title. She didn't have any of those perfect 10s that we saw, but she was just consistently on top of her game. You see that reflected in her final score, a 39.85. That's an SEC record, highest in the conference this year, and Lori is standing by with Gina Rice.
Thanks, Jen. I'm here with the SEC all-around champion. Gina, in your final year, not only do you win another all-around title, but you leave your mark with an SEC championship record. How does it feel?
Well, it was fun. I had a great time, and I'm glad that, you know, I could leave the SEC championship with a bang. Really happy with how our team did. I think that it all came together for us tonight. I think we stuck our landings. I think we did the best job that we've done all year, and I'm not disappointed a bit.
Well, congratulations again as you head on to regionals and then to LA for nationals.
Thank you.
Incredible performance there by Gina Rice, but the SEC Gymnast of the Year award went to LSU sophomore April Burkholder. She was the highest ranked all-arounder in the SEC this season, currently number 3 in the country, and she earns SEC Gymnast of the Year honors. But Laura, the SEC Freshman of the Year, no surprise, went to Kelsey Erickson at Georgia.
A walk-on athlete who's living her dreams, competing for the Gym Dogs. She was recruited primarily for her bars, but now has become their best all-around athlete.
And the Coach of the Year award also went to the Red and Black. Suzanne Yocklin picked up her 6th SEC Coach of the Year award.
And what an honor to get Coach of the Year. This is an accolade that is voted upon by your peers, by the fellow coaches of the conference.
Well, it certainly means a lot, and it means a lot to these Gym Dogs to be hoisting up that SEC Championship trophy. 13 SEC titles have gone to the Gym Dogs. That's the most in the conference, and now they'll be on their way to regionals and hopefully nationals. It's been a tremendous year of SEC gymnastics. Thanks to everyone who worked on the shows. For Lori Strong-Ballard, I'm Jen Hildreth. Thanks so much for joining us.